Hello, I'm Orville Marshall with Heartical Chat. I have with me Wayne Armond from Chalice, and unfortunately, the reason why I'm talking to him is because of the passing of the great Jimmy Cliff. Wayne, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right. I know that probably many people don't know how close you are to Jimmy and the time that you spent touring and moving around and working with him in general.
Right.
Kind of tell us how you and Jimmy met up, or how you got started touring.
Well, I got a call one day to do a session, and it was in 93, or towards the end of 93, 94. And the producer of the session was Clive Hunt and computer Paul Henton. And I didn't know who they were working for. I just got the call to come to Mixing Lab Studio. When I went in, they were working with Jimmy Cliff. That was my first time meeting Jimmy up front, but Jimmy was skeptical and wanted him to call Clive one away and ask Clive what that Chalice man doing for my session. So Clive told him, he's a session musician and then play. So Jimmy reluctantly agreed. So, all right. Fortunately for me, the song that they were recording was I Can See Clearly Now. And I was the guitarist on that session. And when we finished recording that session, Jimmy actually asked me if I could come back and play on some more songs that he wanted to record. And I ended up playing guitar and doing background vocals and quite a bit of his material from that session.
The Chalice man turned out to be good then.
Yeah, it turned out to be good for both of us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the session, after it lasted about 5 days, his road manager come to me and say, Jimmy want to know if you want to come tour with him. Come do a run with him this year. And I said, yeah, and I wasn't really too excited about it. But then next day I saw Jimmy and him say, what, you coming with me? And I say, where we going? And him say, we're going to Woodstock. And from him say, we're going to Woodstock. I know that was it for me. I was sold because I couldn't make a festival like Woodstock pass me, and I was too young when the first one was there, but this was the 25th anniversary, I think, of Woodstock. So we toured Europe for 3 weeks before coming to America, and we toured America and finished up doing the Woodstock performance, which really was an experience. And I thought it would have been just that summer that I would have been touring with Jimmy. And fortunately for me, it ended up that I spent 6 years with him.
Oh my, that's a long time, man.
People tell me it's a long time to be with Jimmy because he used to change his musicians regularly. And we got real close, we bonded in certain things. We used to sit, and he used to call me to him hotel room sometime, and we just chat about religion, about sound, about life, about a woman, about everything. Especially when there was a time when during the tour, one of Chalice original musician, Mikey, got murdered in Jamaica. And, Jimmy was a very strong influence in comforting me and helping me to get over that. But one of the things that Jimmy told me that we used to have a laugh about, he was saying to me, boy, up to now, all these years, I don't find my sound yet. And I keep telling him, you don't find your sound because you keep changing musicians. He had a band once with people like China Smith and Butler and keyboards and Squigley and drums and Chris Murditt and bass, and it was an excellent band. Ansel Collins, who was there with me as well, the great Ansel Collins that instrumental that went #1 on the British chart. Dave and Nancy Collins. Don't remember the name of the track right now. But he's a legend in his own right too. But boy, I go miss Jimmy. I mean, I see him sporadically since I left the band in '99. But whenever I see him, it was always a pleasure, you know.
When you met him first and you started the tour with him, is there anything that kind of shocked you that you found probably not what you expected?
No, actually, it was quite what I was expecting. Jimmy tour at a high level, you know. We have a very comfortable tour bus, we stay in good hotels. It's a lot of work, and what shocked me was his work ethic. I mean, there's sometimes I remember once we do 13 shows back to back, different city, different state, and I mean, rise to the occasion every night, vocally and performance-wise, and never let you down that way. I'm always perform to the highest level.
I remember some time ago, we were talking, you and I, and you were saying songs are not just music, not just a release, right? And I remember you telling me something about what happened on a tour, and I think there was somebody who wanted to see Jimmy. You remember?
Yes, man. Yes.
Tell our audience about that.
Oh, that was a real eye opener for me. It was actually that very first tour in '94 when I went, and we had played somewhere in the Midwest in a festival. It was a very big open field, and they had a lot of merchandise selling all around the place. And I was very interested because it was Native American stuff, and I was interested in that. And me and the keyboard player, Mikey, we walked out there and were just shopping, browsing, and this young girl of about probably 16 or 17, she came up to us and she said, are you members of Jimmy's band? Because we had played already, we had done our set. And we say, yes. And she says, my mom has a statue of Jimmy Cliff in her house. And I'm saying, wow, that's interesting. And she pointed out her mom, which was standing about 20 yards away, and this very shy looking lady, you know. And I said, come, tell me about the statue. And she says to me, if I think she could meet Jimmy, I said, certainly, I'll take you. And there's a long walk back to backstage. And while we're walking, she's telling me that she says about 18 years prior to that date, she had nothing to live for. And she just decided to end it all. And she threw a bottle of sleeping pills on her kitchen table and took a bottle of vodka and decided she just go and sleep away, and that's it. And she said, just something struck her and said, boy, I'm not going to leave this earth just empty, so I'm going to leave with music. And she turned on her radio. And she said when she turned on her radio, a song came on the radio that just spoke to her, tell her, just like something divine, just the song talked to her. And she said she called the radio station and she said, who was that singing that song? And the DJ told her it was Jimmy Cliff. And she said she packed up that sleeping pill bottle and she got down to the record store, and with her last money she buy anything that she saw Jimmy Cliff name on it and come back and play it. And she said every song, from Many Rivers to Cross, from Sitting in Limbo, from You Can Get It, from Wonderful World, Beautiful People, and they all just said something to her. And she said she decided to continue on her life's journey. And now she have a beautiful daughter, she married, her life is on top, and she says Jimmy Cliff saved her life. So I said, wow, what a story that is. And I went, by that time we reached Jimmy's dressing room, I knock on the door, push my head in, I say, Skipper, a lady, one of your fans here would like to see you, you know. And him say, yeah. And he was putting on the moccasins. I remember him always wear moccasins. And was putting on the moccasins, and she come in the room. And when she see him, man, she drop at him feet, man, like Mary Magdalene, crying, tears. And Jimmy kind of embarrassed and say, oh, please, get up. And the lady hug up him man's foot, so. And they just left the two of them talk, boy, because it was overwhelming. I mean, what a story. Music saved our life. And I say to myself after that day, I say, if I can touch one life with my music like that, my whole career will be worth it.
What a story. Yeah. As we talk about the many great songs that Jimmy has produced, when you're on tour, which songs you thought kind of brought out the most energy in the audience?
Right? In the audience, of course, it was a hit. It was Harder They Come. But Jimmy had two particular songs that would bring out the energy in him. One was samba reggae, because Jimmy was very connected to Brazil for some reason. I went to Brazil with him in '99, and we played, I'm not lying to you, it was a free concert in Salvador, which is the area of Brazil that have the most black people. It was 1 million people, I swear. The city put it on, Jimmy performed. This is the first in my life I'm seeing 1 million people in front of me. So that samba reggae, when he performed it on stage, it bring a energy. Then we always used to end the show with just drumming, and he would sing, he would just chant like Bongo Man Has Come. Fly Away Home, Rivers of Babylon. And when him do that, man, you can feel him. You can. I never forget the first night we do that, and the first show that I ever participate in that thing. And when in the midnight, man, I was overwhelmed and I ball out, Rastafari! and the whole band look around for me like, but I was almost in a trance. Because just Jimmy, the way he just was singing and chanting and drumming, hypnotic, man.
Well, give me your 3 top Jimmy songs, your personal preference.
We All Are One. That's number 1 for me. We All Are One. I love performing that song with Jimmy. Sitting Here in Limbo, another brilliant piece of work. And I wouldn't even say, even though Many Rivers to Cross is a classic, it's a classic, I think, you asked me for 3, Sitting in Limbo, We All Are One, and I would say, Treat the Youth Right. I love that song too, Treat the Youth Right.
Let me put you on the spot. You say you like to perform We Are All Are One.
Yes.
Give me a piece right now, no?
We all are one. We are the same person. I'll be me, you'll be you. No matter where we are from, we are human beings. Same chemistry, emotion, devotion, all corresponding to life. Same as you, and the feeling that makes all those changes always renew. So true, yeah. We all are one. We are the same person. I'll be me, you'll be. You want too much.
Why it's only you I can put on the spot like that, you know, without any warning, right? I'll tell you something, probably if your guitar was nearby, I'll just take it up, but probably all I could do is look at it, you know? But anyway,
Yeah, man.
I remember you telling me about a tour, and you had a set that was the plan, and all this, everything was worked out, but somehow Jimmy heard that one of the songs that was probably not as popular as he would expect, right, was something that the audience really wanted to hear. He heard ahead of time, maybe from one of the promoters or something. You remember that situation?
I believe so, but it don't come back to me right now. But I remember that whenever we sound check from time to time. We had a really good crew, good engineers, and we would sound check if Jimmy needed a sound check or if the venue was particularly tricky. The engineers would ask for a sound check. But I remember we had to go to Hawaii, and in Hawaii, there's a song that was so huge for Jimmy in Hawaii. It's the strangest thing. In certain countries, other songs are bigger. Something about my little rowboat. It's the one time we ever performed it. That's in Hawaii. Some song about my little rowboat, and we had to get together and rehearse for that. But he always tried to please his audience, no matter what. Jimmy was a guy that just said, "We're doing it so tonight," and I saw it go. He was open. And he used to call me, because after about 2 years with him, I kind of find myself in the musical director type of, band leader type of role. And I used to go in the changing room with him before shows and him show me the set list and say, "What do you think?" And it was never the same set list every night. He would shuffle it around just to give himself different vibes, you know. I respect Jimmy, man. I love him. Trust me, I rate him.
Which part of the world you'd say he's most popular, and probably based on your touring with him, not necessarily what the numbers would say to you?
Yeah. Well, I would say Brazil. I think Brazil is very, very popular, immensely. And in Europe. Europe love him. France especially. France love him.
I know you mentioned his work ethics, but what you would attribute to his huge success?
Well, I guess just the catalog of his work, his songs, they're brilliant, and they came at the right time. Were well produced. I mean, he was with Island Records, but even before that, Jimmy's success in Jamaica, if you hear, I mean, these are things that some of the stories I'm just hearing, like now, like today. Like how he wrote past Beverly's, and which was an ice cream parlor and had some recording facilities. And he decided to write a song named Dear Beverly to try and get in with the Kongs to see if they would record him when he was about 15 years old or 16 years old. And him write this tune in 10 minutes named Dear Beverly, which turned out to be one of his first recordings, along with a song called Hurricane Hattie, which they tell me that Jimmy was born in 1944 during Hurricane Hattie, and it's ironic that he passed in 25 after the passing of Melissa. So hurricane bring him in, a hurricane take him out.
All right. Now, we have been talking pretty much about Jimmy, the artist, right? Can you tell me a little bit about Jimmy, the person? So when you're talking music, mm-hmm. right? What did you learn about Jimmy, the person?
What I learned about Jimmy is that he was always searching. He was searching for a sound. Musically, he was searching for a path religiously, because Jimmy, I don't know what his family spiritual beliefs are, but I know at one time he was seriously influenced by a Rasta, although he never never became a Rasta, but then he became a Muslim, changed all his name to Naim Bashir. I know some of his kids that have the Bashir name. And when I joined the band, it was kind of what you want to call spiritual. It wasn't hardcore Muslim or hardcore anything. But we had conversations about the divine power, you know, and what we believe in and what we think is after this life and all that. I learned a lot from him, man. I learned about crafting songs and performance especially. You know.
Who you think influenced Jimmy, right? You know, which artists out there that you think had a significant influence on Jimmy?
Well, it's easier for me to tell you who him influenced. Yeah. The amount of legends that has cited Jimmy Cliff as being significant in their craft go from the Grateful Dead, Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen did that trap song that Jimmy wrote. Jimmy told me once that Many Rivers to Cross had educated all his children, and not just from his version, but from the covers that were done. Bob Dylan thought that his song Vietnam was the best anti-war song ever written back in the days of the Vietnam War. So Jimi Hendrix was at the same show in London with Jimmy Cliff, and Jimi Hendrix would tell him, "Man, your voice. I wish I could sing like you." And Jimmy Cliff would tell Jimi Hendrix, "I wish I could play like you." But I think from his background and his age, he would have been influenced by a lot of the American R&B singers of the time, soul singers, blues singers, you know, and even people like, I would venture to say, Sinatra and Andy Williams, and people who had vocal prowess, because he was much into that. He was much into his singing voice.
So I guess you would obviously know a lot of the songs, you have played them. So can I look forward to a tribute from Chalice Band, the Jimmy Cliff?
You know, I have thought about, I worked on 2 albums with Jimmy Cliff, right? And there are songs that I recorded with him. I believe they have come out on albums. But there's one in particular called I Walk With Love that hardly anybody would know that song. And that song stayed with me from the day I left that studio recording that song till now. And I always thought that I would have covered that song.
I'm with Wayne Armond from Chalice, toured with Jimmy Cliff for over 6 years. And Wayne says he certainly will miss Jimmy. He learned a lot. So thanks a lot for sharing with us, Wayne. All the best, and I leave you to grieve.
Okay. Thank you, Avid. Appreciate that, man. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy will always be with us, you know, in one form or another. Musically, on the screen, somewhere. Fly high, Jimmy. Rest well, brother.
All right, thank you, Wayne.